Hello there, Humphrey Perry here and Abang Aki here at Vultr. In today's Tech Talk, we'll talk about supercharging WordPress with multi-region deployment and the Vultr CDN with an end goal of improving the general WordPress site performance. To begin with, multi-region deployment is a web application availability and redundancy action plan that lets you distribute multiple WordPress servers to site visitors across the world. For example, you can have a single WordPress server located in one location and child WordPress servers located in other locations. In return, this will help you deliver content to visitors from the nearest WordPress server possible, depending on the site visitor's location. In addition, you can do this by leveraging GeoDNS to deploy and synchronize with WordPress servers in these locations without affecting the general WordPress lookup time and data availability plans. For example, to achieve this, you can have a joint WordPress server which could have about 64 gigabytes of memory and child WordPress servers which you can actually scale down to save on your general monthly cost. This means you can have a child server in New Jersey, a child server in Sao Paulo, Brazil, another in New Delhi, India, another in Tel Aviv, Israel, and another server in Paris, France. All these servers across the world will be able to correctly route traffic. In this sense, the New Jersey child WordPress server will handle all traffic from the North American region. The Sao Paulo, Brazil WordPress server will handle all traffic from the South American region. The New Delhi server will handle traffic from the India and Southern Asia regions. And then Tel Aviv will actually handle all traffic from your Middle East locations. Paris, France, on the other hand, will be able to handle all traffic from the Europe region. London will be able to also support the Paris, France by adding more data that is available to actually create more redundant points in this region. The Melbourne server will be able to handle all site visitors from Australia, whereas Tokyo, Japan will be able to handle all site visitors from regions such as China, Japan, South Korea, among others, whereas the Johannesburg server will be able to handle all traffic from the African region. So whichever your deployment type scheme is, it means you can have multiple WordPress servers seated around the world and collectively sharing data and making sure your WordPress server is up and running and performing as best as it can. So if you get along and use a tool such as what'smydns.net, you put in your domain name and you realize that each of these multi-region servers will actually return a different IP address for a specific region. For example, if you look at in our search result right here, the North American region has our main WordPress server IP, whereas a different WordPress server IP is returned in our South American location, which could be our Sao Paulo, Brazil, Vultr WordPress server. Whereas a different WordPress server IP address is returned in our South American region. And if you focus right into the European region, you will find out that a different web server IP is returned. But all these will be dependent on the actual site visitor's location. So for instance, you have two servers, one in Paris, France, and another in the London data center. What this does, if a site visitor from Germany hits a WordPress server, they will most likely get redirected to the Paris, France server. And if you have another site visitor from Manchester, they will actually hit your London WordPress server. So multi-region deployment will help you actually improve your general WordPress site performance, but it will still leave a single point of access to your WordPress server. And this is where the Vultr CDN actually comes in to solve another bigger challenge, which is content delivery. In general, Vultr CDN is a content delivery service that will leverage the globally accessible Vultr locations to actually catch most of your data, which could include JavaScript files or media library files to these locations. And in return, you enjoy benefits such as its functionality as a static file cache, whereby your entire media library will be offloaded to the Vultr CDN instead of having these requests routed to your general WordPress servers. In addition, your WordPress servers will benefit from some improved load time, since the server will be able to handle just minor requests while leaving most of the file requests to your Vultr CDN. It's available in 6 quadrants, and as a big plus, it's priced at only $10 a month, plus bandwidth costs that may differ depending on your WordPress site traffic that originates from these locations. How the Vultr CDN exactly works It leverages the globally available Vultr locations to offload your data to these locations and serve them to the nearest site visitor possible. For example, if you have a single WordPress server in a region, you may not effectively target all users in this region. So the Vultr CDN will help and will reduce the load on your server by actually serving some of these files closer to the user than your WordPress server. So Vultr CDN will work regardless of whether you use the multi-region approach or maintain your single server approach, whereby you have a single WordPress server serving all site visitors. The Vultr CDN will simply offload all contents to these locations, even if your server is not actually available in that particular region. As a result, in order to integrate Vultr CDN into your existing WordPress setup, you can use plugins such as CDN Enabler, W3 TotalCatch, WP Fastest Catch, among others that you may find in the WordPress plugins repository, or actually enable rewrite rules in your web server configurations to match specific file requests to your Vultr CDN URL. By doing this, your WordPress site will actually benefit from improved performance. Assuming you have an average load time of 6.9 seconds, when you integrate Vultr CDN, you can actually slash this load time down to 1.2 seconds, which is a big improvement and will benefit your site by improving the user experience and search presence. Based on this background, let me take you right through a demo where I have already deployed a multi-region WordPress site and integrate Vultr CDN to actually improve the performance of this already accelerated WordPress site that is running with GeoDNS. And so, without any further ado, let me take you right into the process. So, in this demo, I have already deployed my WordPress servers that I'm using with GeoDNS. If you'd like to replicate this setup, please click the Vultr Docs resource link to the description of this video. And so, to verify that GeoDNS is enabled, let's go to a site such as what'smydns.net. I'll enter my domain and click search. If you focus well on the search results, you will see that each location has different IP addresses returned for my domain name. So you can always replace this with your own domain name. So if you see in San Jose, United States, I have my main WordPress server IP. If you focus on South Africa, we have a different IP address returned. And if you focus on something like Pakistan, you can see that my India WordPress server IP is returned for users in this location. So GeoDNS is working perfectly well. But how can we actually compare it to the Vultr CDN performance? How does Vultr CDN take an extra step to accelerate your WordPress performance? So let's run a test with a tool like PageSpeed Insights before we implement Vultr CDN. So I'll enter my domain URL and add a light. So the overall speed rating of this site is 92 by performance. You can see that SEO structure is 77 and others are 100. So caching policies and your content optimization policies should be put into consideration whenever you choose to implement the CDN. Now that we have the search results, let's actually go ahead and implement Vultr CDN to accelerate this WordPress site. So navigate to the Vultr customer portal. Within the products category, click CDN. Click Add CDN to set up our new CDN. In the label field, let's enter a name, for example, Production WordPress Geo. And then in the origin URL, add your poison, which is your domain URL. So make sure that you use the correct scheme, because using something like HTTP when your site actually supports HTTPS will cause some potential issues. So let's go ahead and enable GZIP, which is good for compression. Enable GZIP, and click Add CDN to actually create this Vultr CDN. Give it a second, and now you can see we have deployed a Vultr CDN. Now, if you click this pencil icon, you will access the Vultr CDN department and copy this CDN URL to clipboard, since we shall use it to access our site. Now that we have a Vultr CDN ready, let's actually go ahead and implement it in our WordPress site. Navigate to the WordPress dashboard, scroll down to plugins and click Add New Plugin. For our case, let's use a simple plugin such as CDN Enabler. In the search results, click Install Now, Give it a few seconds to install. Click activate to actually get to activate this plugin. Now that is activated, scroll down to settings and find CDN enabler. Click on it. Now, in this configuration page, first you Vultr CDN URL in the CDN postname field. Verify the enabled file extensions. So for my case, I see style sheets are cached, GIF files, JPEG, JPG, MP4, PDF, and all that. So this means the full WordPress media library is offloaded to your CDN. By this, all files from your media library will be actually sent from your Vultr CDN instead of your main WordPress server. This will improve the general WordPress performance. Instead of offloading the content to your WordPress server, it will be able to reach other Vultr CDN. So click Save Changes and Validate Configuration to apply changes. When it's complete, as you can see in my result, the Vultr CDN is accessible and it's implemented in our setup. So as you can see in my reply, so the settings are saved and the CDN postname is valid. So this means the CDN is integrated in your WordPress site, just like that. Now that we've integrated Vultr CDN to our WordPress site, let's open a new page with Insights tab to verify if there is really a very big change that is applied by the Vultr CDN. So in the URL at my domain, you can always replace this with your own domain when running the tests. Now click Analyze to fetch the speed results. Wait for the process to complete. So as you can see now, we have an improved performance rating. We had a fast search result with GeoDNS alone with no Vultr CDN acceleration. And you can see that the site could load in 3.3 seconds. Whereas with Vultr CDN, we actually have 2.4 seconds. This is a great improvement. With the performance rating, we have improved from 92 to 96, which is a big plus. So just like that, you have implemented Vultr CDN on top of your multi-region WordPress site. This improves your general WordPress site performance, caching policies, and user experience. In return, you'll get more traffic and more search presence. In a nutshell, Vultr CDN will accelerate your WordPress site regardless of whether you're using a multi-region deployment scheme or the popular one-server scheme, where you have one server feeding multiple users across the world. So, whichever deployment style you choose, Vultr CDN will still act the same. All content will be offloaded to the CDN points of presence as selected by you in the Vultr CDN control panel. This, in return, improves your user experience, search rankings, and the general WordPress site performance. Otherwise, integrating Vultr CDN in your multi-region WordPress deployment is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more you can do with the CDN and accelerate your general web application's performance. I hope you enjoyed this tech talk, and if you did, I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.